Most of the better parades in New Orleans feature something called signature floats. These are floats that have some element that's specific to that particular crew. The oldest such one dates from 1872. A couple of years ago for Fox 8 News New Orleans, I interviewed Dr. Stephen Hales. He's the Rex historian, and he gave us the scoop on the float that looks like a bull in the middle of the King of Carnival's parade.
Always takes some explaining. They don't immediately understand what a Boeuf Gras got to do with the parade.
It's the oldest tradition of Mardi Gras, and it's probably one of the most recognizable pieces of the Rex parade.
Rex picked up a lot of traditions from overseas, from Europe. I mean, our settlers here, the early citizens of New Orleans, had their roots in France, in Spain. And there were vibrant celebrations of carnival there. So they brought with them those traditions.
The Boeuf Gras, or fatted ox, made an appearance in the 1867 Comus parade, and then later became a fixture in the Rex parade.
Rex early on had live Boeuf Gras at the head of the parade, and if you'd been in 16th century France, you would have been celebrating Boeuf Gras. There would have been a live Boeuf Gras, decorated, gilded horns on a wagon, paraded through town, and at the end of that you would have killed the thing and eaten that last meat before Lent. Around the turn of the century in 1901, Rex's leaders decided that it wasn't quite as pretty as the rest of that beautiful parade that people were coming from all over the world to see. So they fired the Boeuf Gras.
It would stay that way for decades, until 1959 when Rex decided it was time for the Boeuf Gras to make its grand entrance once again. This time a papier-mâché one riding high atop a float. Who decides who rides on that very special float?
Well, members ride on all of these floats, sometimes by tradition. That float has a lot of past kings of carnival on it.
Not only do revelers get to feast on the grand sight of the Boeuf Gras as it makes its way down the street on Fat Tuesday, if they're lucky enough, they may also get to take home a special souvenir.
Each of our floats will have throws that are specific to that float, but the Boeuf Gras beads, plushes, we have small and large stuffed Boeuf Gras that are very... Cups too. I mean,
koozies.
I don't think they had that in 17th century France, but we try to adjust for our times. I often thought that if a 17th century Frenchman parachuted in New Orleans on Mardi Gras and wondered what was going on, when they saw that figure, they'd know exactly what was going on. It's Boeuf Gras.
The Boeuf Gras is actually one of 6 signature floats that appear in the King of Carnival's parade, and you can catch it on Fat Tuesday. I'll be there wishing you a happy Mardi Gras.